My name is Danna Wessels. I live in Lafayette, Colorado. It's about 7 miles east of Boulder. I was diagnosed with CTCL MF stage 1A by the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas in August of 2007. The disease escalated very quickly, and I found myself requiring a life-saving stem cell transplant in approximately 4 years from the point of diagnosis.
I'm Nancy Noble. I live in Lafayette, Colorado with Danna, and we've been together for 22 years. So I was with Danna at the point of diagnosis all the way through the stem cell transplant until success today.
The early treatments that I had were topical steroid creams. There was a wide range of topical steroid creams that we applied directly to the affected areas. And the next treatment that I had was called ultraviolet light, where you would stand in a vertical light booth for approximately 50 seconds, and it would increase over time.
In the very beginning, it seemed that it would be another chronic illness. Danna had been diagnosed with 2 other chronic illnesses over the 10 years previous to that. And so in the beginning, it felt like that's how it would be. They told us that this is typically a very slow-growing cancer, so therefore this would be kind of maintenance to take the light treatments, to use those creams, and keep the skin as protected as possible. So in the very beginning, it did seem like, well, this is just another maintenance kind of issue. Even after we moved to Colorado, we had to make changes to doctors and where she could get light treatments, those kinds of things. But again, it was okay for that first year and a half or so. And so we were just in the process of really accepting that here's one more thing to maintain.
There were a lot of challenges along the way because the disease progressed very, very quickly because my immune system was already compromised, because I live with type 1 juvenile diabetes and Addison's disease, which is adrenal insufficiency. So therefore, the disease escalated very, very, very quickly. And so I found myself going from just having to do the steroid creams and the ultraviolet light treatments to having to really endure some aggressive treatments, one of which was called total skin electron beam. And what that involved was having lead contacts placed in your eyes, putting on a very thin radiation gown. There was a large platform in a very large radiation auditorium. I had to, once these contacts were placed in my eyes, then I was blinded temporarily. And then they would patch up the eyes, and a couple of technicians would hold my hands to help guide me over to a raised platform. And I would stand up on this platform, and then they would put a large plexiglass tower in front of me, position my hands and my feet in specific locations, and then everyone would run out of the room very, very swiftly. There were a lot of fellows, and it was a teaching hospital, so there would be about 8 people in the room, and they would exit very, very quickly. Then they would all go to a control tower. Then they would throw the radiation switch. It would last about 55 seconds. Then they would come back in, reposition my body, turn me around into a different position to radiate a different part of the body. Everybody would run out again, back to the control room, throw the switch. I would listen to music to distract me because I could actually feel sometimes the radiation waves coming towards my body. So it was pretty frightening and very challenging. And the skin would get slightly sunburned the first few weeks. And I had to do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, over a 10-week period. So it was really difficult. It was really challenging. My sister actually moved in with us so Nancy could continue to work because she has a very challenging, highly visible position.
And insurance is very
And we wanted to
important.
make sure and keep the group insurance coming in because my transplant costs over $1.5 million. So, but after the procedure, they would take out the contacts and I could put my clothes on and go back. I always had a driver because this procedure would really lower your energy level. And so I had a couple of very good friends that would drive me back and forth. And then when I came home, my sister would be there. And we had big jars of pure aloe vera gel. And my sister would apply the aloe vera gel to my skin because the skin would get very tight and be sunburned. And so the aloe vera gel really helped to dissipate the stinging and the tightness.
Even well before the total skin, because that was just prior to getting a transplant. We had been in Colorado a year and a half, and at a particular moment in the summer of 2009, she began to itch constantly everywhere, head to toe, and her skin became completely red. And she was itching everywhere. I mean, we tried to make the best of it as we could, but it impacted social life. It impacted even being able to go out to dinner. Even driving around in my car, we would call it Danna dust because she would do that flaking and itching, and there'd just be all of this, dust all over my car because of that. And so that was a long period where she was really itching, and they tried using photophoresis. So even before the 10 weeks with TSEB, she had to go through that photophoresis 2 or 3 times a week for about 10 months. And that was a big process as well. That involved, taking her blood, so a big old needle, taking her blood and having that run through light, all of that. And so there was another major kind of treatment even before the total skin. We're a same-sex couple. And so it was really important for me to have a job in a company that provided that kind of insurance. Danna has not had full-time employment for a while. She had a job with some insurance, but had to leave it because not only because of the constant itching, but because she had gotten a fungus that her job involved being in a hospital around babies, and so she had had to leave that so that she wouldn't create any health problems for anyone. So I'm the sole supporter of the family financially, and so having that insurance was critical because Danna again she has type 1 diabetes, she has adrenal insufficiency which both require lots of maintenance. Drugs, equipment to deal with, and then cancer treatment is not inexpensive. There was the photophoresis, there was the radiation for total skin, there were the continual medications that would be required, even the UVB light treatments. The stem cell transplant itself was incredibly expensive. I worked for a medical device company, and they were very supportive of me when I did need to take the time to take care of Danna, but we really needed that health insurance. So we're really grateful for those companies that have provided that for us and for our family. We had to pay some things out of pocket, but not near what it would have taken. I really feel for families that didn't have the kind of privilege that we had.
If I could add to that, I asked the financial people to tell me how much the stem cell transplant, the treatments prior to the transplant itself, and I think it was about 9 months where I had to go in pretty constantly for blood work and consultation with my doctor, and I asked them how much that cost, and they said it cost $1.6 million. With Nancy's really very good health insurance through United Healthcare, we had a maximum out-of-pocket as far as a copay of $2,000. But as Nancy was saying a moment ago, there were also many prescription medications, many doctor visit copays, and other expenses. But it was incredible that it cost that much, and the insurance was so effective that we didn't have to pay a lot.
When we had the stem cell transplant, I was still working. So we had to actually hire home care helpers to come in and stay with Danna after she got home from the hospital, to stay with her, be sure that she stayed okay, be sure that she got her medication on time, try to feed her.
And make sure about infection.
Right, and be sure about infections, let me know of any kind of problems, take her to doctor's appointments as needed. So we had to pay for that kind of help as well, and insurance doesn't pay for that. It wasn't nursing care, and so insurance doesn't pay for things like home care, the other kinds of things that you need to be sure that the person gets through those kinds of experiences okay.
Today, I'm doing very well. The disease is no longer in my blood. I have a few patches that have tried to come back, and most of them have gone away, have dissipated, because the new cells that I received from my donor, which was from the Netherlands, are very strong and are fighting off any patches that try to return. And he says that I have these victory spots. They're kind of vertiglio looking. They're these white spots where the patch starts out a little bit pink, and then it goes to this white vertiglio looking type spot, and he calls those my victory spots. So I'm doing really well. I'm exercising. I've been working out with a fitness trainer for about 6 months, twice a week. I like to go and swim laps. I take my dogs out to the dog park daily when the weather permits in Colorado, which most days it's beautiful. The message that I would give someone that's newly diagnosed is stay in the present moment. Don't worry too much. That the majority of people do very well if they're diagnosed with the disease early. Stay mindful, stay present, continue to enjoy your life, follow through with all your doctor's appointments, and probably most importantly, make sure that you find someone who specializes in your disease. If that's cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, mycosis fungoides, make sure that you find a doctor that has a lot of experience in that field.
I think for caregivers, my advice would be to really take ownership of that quote that a lot of people say, if one member of the family has cancer, everybody has cancer. Not everybody really believes that, because the person who's sick is the one you notice the most, who's feeling it the most. I'm a very independent person. I don't know that I'm really unusual, though, from other caregivers in that, I feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be the tough one. I'm supposed to be really strong. I'm supposed to be providing because the patient cannot. And so I should be glad for that. But the truth is, you got to know when to take care of yourself. So that would be my biggest message to a caregiver is know when to take care of yourself, because the patient has to do that, the caregiver has to do that. It's just like they say on the airplane, you're supposed to put your own mask on first before you put it on the child. That's the truth, because there are times when it's really hard and you lose patience, and Danna's not necessarily low maintenance in the first place. So when it gets increased like that, then it just means you really got to take care of yourself. I'd say for the family, I think what worked for us really well was we started to set goals. We started to look at things. What could we look forward to that we really want to do, maybe places we really want to go. I think setting goals and having a positive intention mindset is something that helped both of us to do that. So I'd say that's a really important piece. It has allowed us to do things that we probably never thought would happen for ourselves because of that.
Nancy and I have been together for more than 20 years, and when I was very, very sick at home recovering, she proposed to me and said, we're going to do everything we can to get you healthy and vibrant again, and I would like us to get married. I would like us to go to New York and actually get married. So that was so warm and touching, and it gave me that goal out there. It gave me this beautiful goal, and it helped me get through some of the darkest, most difficult, intense stomach cramps, the vomiting, the diarrhea, the nausea, just the total fatigue. It helped me move through that because I thought I need to move forward so I can plan our wedding in Long Island, New York, and we had decided that we were also going to plan a grand wedding reception in Estes Park, Colorado. So it was just wonderful to have this goal out there, and I'm going to be speaking this afternoon to the folks closing out the conference, and I'm going to talk to them too about goals. I think that's very, very important.